This is a short video recording how conferences work with more than one person. So earlier I showed the different features, the different things you can do. Now I actually have another user in here, so I can show a number of different things. So when any kind of regular student joins, then he or she is displayed as a round symbol. So that means it's just a viewer. It's a person that cannot do anything. They can talk, as you see here, the other person has the microphone on, so I will hear them. But I can, for example, decide to just right-click on there and say mute, and then the user is muted and cannot talk anymore. And generally, it's of course a good practice if you have a lot of people to encourage them to mute unless they have something. If they want to discuss anything, they can, for example, write in the public chat, as Artna did now. So if they have a question, they can just write here and I will see it. What is also possible, this is of course a public chat, but you can always private chat with a person. So I can start a private chat right here. The students can do the same thing, so they could write to you if they have any question. So that's one thing you can do. Now, what I can do with Artna is I could give him presenter rights. So for example, if he has a question, he wants to show something, I can make him a presenter. And then just like I did before, he could share his screen or show the webcam or any of that. If someone is really inappropriate, you could also remove that user. That's another option. And finally, you can promote someone to moderator. So if I click on that, then Artna now has the same rights. For example, if you have another TA in class, that person could be a moderator and then also mute other people, take the presenter rights, and all of these things that I have just done. So that's completely possible. One interesting feature is I showed earlier that I can draw on the screen. You can enable down here the multi-user whiteboard, and if I do that, then everyone has the right to draw. So now Artna can also start drawing. And this has nothing to do with the person being a moderator or not. So even a viewer has the right to draw. So that's the same. If I switch it off again, it's only me, no one else can draw. So that's a good feature. Also, we have the shared notes up here. Again, this is something where everyone has access. So I can write points, but Artna should also be able to go in there and write notes, exactly. And a good practice here is, especially if you have smaller groups, maybe 20 or less people, is to encourage them in the beginning to just go in here and try this out. For example, I have seen recommendations to for everyone to write down their name, so you have an attendance list. And that's not so important for the attendance list, it's more that everyone actually gets the feeling that they are welcome to write things in here. So that's an important thing. If those notes are anyhow important, don't forget to save them before you leave the meeting by, for example, exporting them here. Okay, there's one last feature that is really important, which I'll just show, and that's breakout rooms. So there might, of course, be a situation where you have 20 students, and a common thing is that at the end of your lecture, people have questions that they want to ask individually, for example, regarding their assignments. And what you can do is you can create so-called breakout rooms. So if you click on this wheel here, I can go into create breakout rooms. And I can just select a number of rooms. For example, I want to create 2 rooms, and I can assign people to them. So I can say I want to go into a breakout room with the other person, and then I say create. And then what happens is that you see that a new tab is opened. It's just like joining another conference. Everything is like before. That in my original conference, I am now muted. But now we are in a special room, just the 2 of us. And if there would be any more users in the original conference, they would not be in the same room. So now you have a space where you can discuss individual things, and the other people are not interrupted, and the other people don't see, for example, if I let him share his screen and show assignment things. So that's a good thing. You can set a limit for these breakout rooms. You can also just say log out, and then you're logged out of this the other conference is still running. So, and then you have an overview here. You can at some point just end those rooms, and then we're back to the original session. Finally, I haven't used this myself, so I'm not sure how useful it is. Yeah, don't forget to reconnect your microphone, otherwise you are not being heard. One last feature that is maybe useful is you can set your status. So if I, for example, set my status here to raise, then it shows a different icon. Maybe you can try that, Artna, if you click on exactly. Now Artna has changed his status to, I guess that's confused or something like that. Yeah, so I see that. If you are in a lecture with many people, I'm not sure how much you see of this. So I think it's better to actually write in the public chat, for example, because as you have seen before, there's a small icon that shows when someone is writing there. And I think that actually captures your awareness much more than someone raising a hand or changing their status anyhow. So I would recommend to just write in the public chat or write privately to the instructor, so that you actually get the students get your attention. Okay, that's about it. There's nothing else here that I want to demonstrate for now, so I think it's just trying it out and see how different things work. And I'll just end this meeting, so I'll just log out here.